Hello, in this tutorial I'll show you guys how you can easily add texture and have that nice and beautiful canvas in your studio images in Photoshop using very simple techniques. So I'm going to be sharing two basic methods. So you're going to be able to get the image from looking like this to looking like this. I hope you can get what I'm trying to talk about in this very tutorial. The first thing I'm simply going to come and delete this so that we can start from the very start. So if at all you're interested in texture background, there are so many texture backgrounds you can download from Google. You can simply go and type in texture backgrounds and you're going to be getting those images, and you can download and follow along in this very tutorial. So the very first thing, or the very first method I'm going to show you guys, is going to be by simply coming to the background layer and hitting Ctrl or Command J on the keyboard. Then after doing that, we want to drag and drop in our image into Photoshop. So I'm just going to come to my Finder and come and left click on the image and drag into Photoshop on top of the image. So this is what we have. So I'd love to rotate this image so that it can perfectly fit on top of this image. So I'm just going to come and I put those values like a 90% rotation, and you can see that it has rotated this very image. Then I'm going to hit enter and hold down the alternate key so that this can be increased in size in the real ratio it is. So I'm just going to hold down alternate and left click and start dragging until that point when I feel like it is occupying the image, just like that. So I could just increase this even more. So here we are right now, and after you feel like it is okay for you, you can come and hit enter on the keyboard, and this is the texture on top of the image. So the next thing we want to do is coming to the image right here and turning it off or hiding the visibility, and coming to the layer that we created from our original image, and coming to select and coming to subject. So you have to select the subject. So you can choose whichever tools that you prefer to use in order to select the subject. We have the pen tool and various tools that you can use to select your subjects, but for this case I just want this to be a short one. And if at all you have newer versions of Photoshop, you can use the new select subject feature like I've used in this tutorial. And after selecting the subject, we want to come and now select this right here and make sure we have selected the texture layer. So we turn on the visibility icon and we select the texture layer, and you can see that this is where we are right now. Then we are going to come to the layer mask icon and simply click on that option right there. So after we have done that, the next thing we want to do is now coming to right here, make sure that this is selected or this layer mask is selected. So we want to invert the effect. Remember, the textures are affecting the image instead, and we want the textures to be on the background of the image instead. So make sure that this is selected and hit Ctrl or Command I on the keyboard to invert that effect, and you can see that it is now on the background of our model. So remember, since the background that we have in this virtual is light in color, we want to look for a blend mode that is going to darken the lightness of the background or the texture details. And you are simply going to come to the blending mode and coming to you can either use multiply, you can use color band or linear band. But if at all I want the effect to be really strong, I'm going to go in for linear band. So anything that we want, if at all you feel like the intensity is too strong for your liking, what you have to do is simply coming to this texture icon or layer mask and coming to filter, then coming to blur and coming to Gaussian blur, and you can reduce on the intensity of the effect depending on the look you're trying to go in for. So I'm just going to go with around 7 and hit OK. And this is the image initially before and after, before, after. This is the very first technique on how to add that nice and beautiful texture to your images. So I'm just going to show you guys the second method. I'm just going to delete this. So a very second method, you're going to be using layer masks and a brush to paint over the image. So I'm just going to come and make sure the background layer is selected and hit Ctrl or Command J on the keyboard to create a duplicate from the background layer, and coming to where my texture file is stored and dragging it back into Photoshop just like that. Then simply rotate it. I'm just going to be using 90%, or you can manually do that. And now zoom or hold down the alternate key and drag the edges to make sure that it fills up the overall image, and hit enter on the keyboard. So there we are right now. So right now we just want to reveal, since this is a simple white textured background, you're going to come to the blend mode and change it from normal, and you're going to go for color band still, just like that. And you can see right now it has added the texture to the background, but this is affecting the image as well. So what we want to do, we're going to simply come and create a layer mask just like that, and you can see that we have a white layer mask. So we want to hide the effect from affecting the model or our subject. In this case, we're going to come to the brush and get the soft round brush. So the settings, it is the hardness is at 0 and opacity at 100 and the flow at 100. So make sure white black is on top. So in order to toggle, you can use X on the keyboard, and if at all you don't have black and white right here, you can use or click on these two color swatches or boxes, and you can use X to get black on top. So we want to eliminate the effect from affecting the model right here. And remember, in order to delete or eliminate, we have to use black. Remember, in Photoshop, black hides and white reveals. That's why the effect can be seen in the image. So when we use a black brush to paint over the white mask, it is going to be hiding the effect from that area. So come and start painting just like that to get back the image. So you have to be careful. And as you can see right here, we are now eliminating and getting back the original details in the image. Remember, the effect was too strong, so we have to take time while painting just like that to eliminate the effect from affecting our subject in this case. So I think you can see how nicely done this is, and I think this is a simpler way to go around this very process. So you can see what we have right now, and just come and paint right here to make sure that everything has been eliminated from the subject. So this is the before after. Then if at all you feel like you're okay with the texture in the background, you can leave it the way it is. But if at all you want to blur out or reduce on the intensity of the effect from affecting the overall image, you can simply come right here and select the texture mask and come to filter, then come to blur and come to Gaussian blur, and you can play around with the blur radius depending on what you're trying to go in for, and simply hit OK just like that. So this is the before and after, before after. This is an easy way of how to you can add a canvas or a textured background if at all you don't have it in your studio. And if at all you have loved this tutorial, don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If at all you have been watching and you loved and learned something from this very tutorial, I am Ronix from ronnixphotography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in yet more tutorials on this channel. Don't forget to keep practicing and keep creating.